All right. If you're watching online in the room right now, would anyone raise their hand and be bold enough to admit, like, you've been known to go off a time or two, lose your mind? A lot of anger in this room. 9:30 was like 2. They're older. Trust me, it's all good. So I was trying to think and get ready for this, and had some people at the house last night. So I'm just asking them, and one of the guys, he's like, yeah, I kind of said he went off. I think my wife said she tends to go off at times. But my favorite was I was talking to my daughter, and I said, do you ever go off? I knew the answer, okay? But I was just like, do you ever go off? And she's like, all the time. Like, every day. And I was like, so what makes you go off? And she was like, everything. And we're by the pool. I literally just patted her head and said, good girl, right? And like, I don't know what to do. But I was trying to think for me, I'm probably like, just don't lose my mind. It's not that I don't get angry. I think there's spewers and stewers. And, spewers, you guys just lose your mind, and everyone's making fun of you. But us stewers we're like way more, like we keep it in, way more professional. We can even look at you and say things like, no, I'm not mad. And the whole time I'm plotting your death, like right to your face. But, so a few weeks back, I was like, I don't think I'd go off. And I'm heading to work from my house in Ironton. So I get on 2nd Street. And as soon as I make a left, of course, everybody's slow. No one knows how to get out of the exit. And it's losing my mind. So I get on 2nd Street, and I get behind a car, and it's going like, I'm not exaggerating, guys, 11 miles an hour. And I'm already kind of late, and I'm kind of like, what's going on here? I'm losing my mind. So I'm getting ready to like pass them, even though it's illegal and probably would kill it. I don't care. And I look in the car. There's a car in front of them. So I'm like, okay, I can't get mad at them. They can't go if the car in front of them. So then I start plotting like how much I can't stand that person. Well, I look ahead and I notice, and I'm like, okay, it made sense. There's a golf cart in the morning, and they're driving. It's legal in Ironton, so they're driving 2nd Street. So I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense because now all 3 of us are behind a golf cart. It's going 11 miles an hour. Problem solved. I don't like it. Let's all just pass and we'll move on. And then something happened that truly I've never seen in my life. I started noticing the first car, the car in front, and the golf cart got off to the right of the street, so you have plenty of time to pass. And at first I thought, okay, they're still going slow because I get if you're older or a younger driver and you're driving, you're like, I don't want them to cut back in front of me, you're freaking out. So I get, even though it got to the right lane, still staying behind because I get it. But I noticed something else. As I looked closer, this person in the front car was driving right beside the golf cart at 11 miles an hour. And they did that all the way until we got to Park Avenue. Now, you could say, Trent, why didn't you make a left? I couldn't, because that one gave me enough time to pray that this person dies in a violent crash, even though God, I don't know how you make them die at 11 miles an hour, but kill them, please. And it got so much, they came to a stop sign, getting ready to turn right, and because another car bailed out. They were so tired of this. And even though I'm late now, I don't care. You know what I did? I'm just being honest with you guys. That car's getting ready to make a right turn. I pulled up as quick as I could because I wanted to stop beside them. And I wanted to look in their eyes and let them know, I hate you. Just be honest. Like, I cannot stand you. And I promise, old person, oblivious to the world, they didn't care, right? They're just living their good life. But I was like, I really did. I completely went off. I went off. Like, I'm in my car. I'm just losing my mind. And I got to thinking about that. Why do we go off? Why do we lose our minds? What causes this? And I'm going to let you guys in a little secret this morning. And this is like kind of church secret, so don't tell anybody else. But I've been doing this for a long time, 20 plus years. And I've learned something about all people, no matter what. Most of you in this room and most of you watching online, all the people, this is standard across the board. I've learned that most people have 2 eyes. Most people have 1 nose. Most people have 1 mouth. But everybody has at least 1 butt. Now, as you think, like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I'm not talking about a butt with 2 T's. I'm talking about a butt with 1 T. And here's the thought I want to give you. We're talking about Naaman, and we're going to go through his story today. I'll just give you the headline real quick. Naaman was a mighty commander, warrior, very popular, prestige, power, popular. I mean, he had all the P's you could want. And Naaman actually has leprosy, so he has a disease that may kill him that's very contagious. And in that time in the world, no one wanted because there's no cure. And you just literally had to watch your body kind of get rotted away. But he's not telling anybody. But here's the thing. So Naaman, powerful man, gets leprosy, and God heals him. That's the headline, okay? What I want to talk about today is I want to go in the middle of this and how this kind of works. So here's what I want you to see. First thought is real simple. Everybody's trying to cover their own butts. Okay? Everybody. Everybody's trying to cover. Well, what do you mean by that? If you look at 2 Kings 5, that's where we've been. It says this. It says, now Naaman was commander of the army of the king of Aram. He was a great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. Now, let me just give you a picture of Naaman. So you guys, this is a younger crowd, so you'll hopefully get this. This is how I picture what Naaman's like. Naaman is built like the Rock, and I don't care if it sounds weird. I don't know if, as a grown man, I say this on stage. Rock's the best built man I've ever seen in my life. Like, I would give anything to be built like the Rock. He's amazing. I don't think he's that good looking. Why am I talking about this? Doesn't matter, okay? He's built like the Rock, though. I think he's as rich as Conrad, but as good looking as Jer. Okay, none of you care about the summer I turned pretty, do you? Okay, thank you. Like 3 of you are kind of in, but you're kind of mad because you're like, I like Jay. Okay, fair enough. But for the rest of you, okay, I went over your heads. Let's go back for you old people in here, okay? He looked like Robert Redford. Okay, still no. Okay, it doesn't matter. That completely didn't land. But here's the point. He's good. I'm sure he has it all together. He's the man. Check this out, though. So all this is going for him. He's got success. He's got money. As we're about to see, he has money. He has it all. Stuff we'd all probably love to have. It said, but, that's underlined in my Bible. But he had leprosy. You see, I've learned in my life that you can be very successful, but still be miserable. I've learned in my life that you can have a ton of money, but still be not content. I've learned that you can be great at the office because you're the man and you're the woman and you kill it, but be terrible at home. See, I've learned a lot of this in my life because I'm the same as you, and there's a lot of these. I can be really good in this arena, and man, people even brag on me and say, oh, you're talented at doing that, but then be so awful in ones that matter. Here's a man who had it all together, but he had leprosy. Now, this is cheesy, but when I was 13 years old, I sat in my room with a notebook. Such a weirdo. I was a weird kid. But I literally wrote this out. I remember, because I was 13, I thought it was creative. I wrote my 13 life goals. Now, you guys are about to be really proud of me because who at 46 years old can say when they're 13, they wrote 13 life goals and they accomplished none of them? Right? Pretty impressive, right? And they weren't even, I didn't even shoot for the moon. Okay, here's one. I said, I want to play on a Division I football team and start. Okay? Someone should have came over, my mom should have been like, honey, you're 5'5" in high heels, right? You know how we get you the husky jeans? We use the word husky, but that means, okay, like I should have done that. But then I was like, but I was like not that crazy. I was like, okay, just D1, that's all I'm asking for. I want to start. But here's the other thing, and a 4A scholarship. But I was like, I'm probably going to play in the NFL. I get I'm not that talented. So I'm going to spend those 4 years in pre-med. And then if I don't make it to the league, I might make it. That was like put in parentheses. If I don't, then I'm just going to literally become a doctor. Right? That was easy. All this. But here's my point. As I look back, and it's been years back, I was at my mom and dad's, and we had this old like UK chest where I kept a bunch of my stuff, and then the flood, it got, anyways, long story short, I remember getting in there. I remember seeing this notebook, and it hit me. Like, man, you were dumb at 13, right? I was trying to write a script for my life at 13. Nothing wrong with that. But as I look back, all those goals were Naaman goals. All those goals were things like, how can I be really a big deal? How can I get more? How can I achieve? None of that's bad. Some of you in here are like, I get it. I'm like you. We're achievers, right? We're built for it. I get it. But all those were really, if I'm honest, about me and how people would see me and what I could do and what I could get. Right? And I think probably a little bit that's why God said, no, I'm not going to let you accomplish that because that's not the script I want for your life. Actually, I want so much more than your life than to even play and start in D1 football. I want more for your life than to be a doctor, which was still what I was trying to do. Right? Why? Because he had something bigger and better. So here's what Naaman does. He's sitting there, you remember the first week, the girl comes up, she's like, I have a master, she's sweeping, like, go. So he gets a caravan. He rolls in, full entourage. He has it says he brought 75 pounds of gold, 150 pounds, mind you, of silver, a bunch of clothes. He's like bringing in Lululemon, boutique. He's got it. He walks in. Why? Because he's a great man. And when he rolled in places, he paid for stuff because he could. He's the man. So when he walked in, he's like, look, I need you to fix me. So here's what I'm going to do for you, because this is how my world works. I give you something big. You do something big for me. That was completely how he thought this was going to go down. So he's thinking, I'm going to go meet with the king. And remember, if you remember verse 1, Aaron talked about this last week, he goes to meet the king, but she didn't say a king could heal him. She said, I have a God and a prophet, but he doesn't care. He goes to meet the most powerful man. The king freaks out. As Aaron said last week, panic mode. He's done. So then they're like, the prophet says, hey, what's going on? Tell him to come see me. So Naaman literally loads back up, probably come in 100 deep with his people. He comes rolling in, gets to the prophet's house, and this prophet named Elisha is in there watching Law and Order and doesn't come out. Like his servant comes in, he's like, dude, he's here, okay? He's a big deal. And this is like probably one of the most powerful countries at this time. So it's like literally like, you know, the United States. This is the president coming in. This is the chief general commander, like Colin Powell. He's coming in. It's a big deal. He walks in and he's like, just tell him to go in the Jordan River. Just dip himself 7 times, he'll be healed. Let's see, I've seen that Law and Order. Let me see what's on channel 13. And his assistant's like, what? Let's go tell him. So he has to be the guy that walk out and he's like, hey, he's busy. I know he's not busy. I can see the TV in the window. And he's like, no, he's busy. But he said, just go to the Jordan River, and all you have to do is dip yourself 7 times, you'll be clean. I know it sounds like a crazy thing, but here's where I think this story becomes so powerful. Naaman loses his mind. Why? That's a simple thing, right? That's a very simple thing. Here's why. The gap between what I thought and what I got is where I go off. And it's the same for you, and it's the same for everybody watching online. You see, there's a plan in my life where I thought I was going to do this or get this or be this. And then sometimes in life, I get something else. And the gap of my butt, or dare I say, crack of my butt. Okay, I'm done. No more. That one was for free. The gap between what I thought and what I got is where I go off. And you do too. You see, we lose our... We lose our minds when we thought something was going to... That morning driving to work, I was like, okay, I'm exactly dead on time. I can be there right on time if nothing happens. I thought I would be on time because I left in time to be on time. What I didn't plan for was for Gertrude to drive beside a golf cart, mind you, not behind it. Did I tell you guys that part yet? She drove beside the golf cart, 11 miles an hour. You see, what I got wasn't what I thought, so I go off. And you do too. You see, Naaman thought that the prophet and the king, everybody come up and be like, we don't even deserve to be out here, dude. You're thank you for gracing us with your presence. And he doesn't. He says, yeah, go tell him. Just go tell him. What? Look what it says. It says, but Naaman went off. That's underlined in my Bible. But, did you catch that? There's a but again. So we got but number 2. But Naaman he literally went off. And it said, but I thought. Some of you younger people in here, you know how it is. It's like, I thought he was going to propose when he invited me to dinner tonight at Golden Corral. But he broke up with me. Well, you should have known he was taking you to Golden Corral, right? You don't propose there. But no, it's like I thought when my boss called me into his office, he's going to give me a raise. But he fired me. Right? I thought, but what I got, no. That's what upsets me. I thought, moms, our Christmas family picture was going to be amazing. We even clipped out the boyfriends and girlfriends because we know they're not going to be dating in 2 months. We did all the smart stuff. We was going to be perfect, and my husband was going to look this way. No, he's gained weight. I thought my kids would be excited. They were a mess that day. What I thought and what I got, that's why I go off. It's frustrating when the I thought and the I got don't match up. And here's why. If we're honest, all of us here kind of struggle with the script of life. And if I'm not careful, I have this theory that life revolves around me. So here's kind of what I've done. This is a big script. I moved on from 13. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to complete those goals. So I just wrote a script for my life. And isn't that why people become Christians, right? Because you get to write your script and then tell God to do stuff for you and make sure he always follows your script. And if he doesn't follow your script, you get real mad at him and say he's not God anymore, right? Honestly, right? That's kind of like my prayer just becomes, God, here's my script. Do what I need you to do, and we're good. That's how we operate. Here's my script. I've got a lot of pages, guys. I've typed this out. Right? Why? Because my life is about me. Trent's life. What Trent gets. What Trent does. See, Trent, that's at the top, guys. I even put it in 48 fonts so you can see it today. It's my life. And here's what I've kind of learned is, but my life isn't all about me. Now, can I give you guys, I shared it at 9:30, that was it. It's never been said before publicly at C3. But just to give you, young people, you'll get into this. Old people, take a nap because you'll be like, I don't care. I don't understand the words you're talking about. We're sitting in a meeting one day, and one of our girls, Cassie, she was like social media, you guys post videos, stuff like that. But she was like, I don't think anybody younger watches. And her point was, she was like, if you think, like anyone younger, especially than my age, they're not really so much like Facebook, all that. They're watching scrolls and Instagram and Reels. So I'm like, I'm really kind of interested. I'm like, okay, we need to think about this. So I sat down with our people, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's just try this for a few months. Let's take clips. We'll take clips from the message, clips from different things, and we'll create a reel, okay? Old people just, a reel. It's like 30 seconds, a minute. And it's just like a little highlight, and you play it, put some music behind it. Okay, that's it. Well, what happened, this is what kind of blew my mind. Over the course of like a month, we start looking, like you upload them on YouTube, Facebook, you start looking at like analytics, and especially YouTube, it's like, these are getting like thousands and thousands of views, okay? Who cares, right? But what really hits me is I start getting messages. Like one guy was from Russia. See, none of you are impressed. We're going global, baby, right? Some Russian who probably wasn't Russian. He lives in, in Proctorville, but he acted like he was Russian and made his name Vladimir. It impressed me, right? He's like, I'm from Russia. You'll do great. No, I'm not doing the Russian accent. But yeah, so I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I get the idea. I can just be honest with you guys. I'm like, I'm not doing too bad, am I? I'm pretty good. I mean, guys, people from Russia want to hear words I say. So I got the crazy harebrained idea to go to our YouTube channel, and I was like, forget this. What's the biggest hitter? What has, thousands and thousands? What almost went viral? That's what I need to know. And I was like, maybe something I said at Easter. It's been a few months back. Aaron said something we put on. I was like, that was really good. I was like, it's something we did. Okay, look. I forgot to tell you, when our kids were little, I accidentally put 2 videos on our C3 page. 2 of them. It's kids on the slide at the park. And literally the description is, our kids and our nieces playing on a slide at the park. Tayden has the best balance, cut off. Who cares, right? 1 minute clip, 40,000 views. We can't touch it. We literally can't touch. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, okay, so what I want to do this morning, okay? Because I know you guys are bored. I'm very boring to listen to. So I'm going to, raise the level a little bit. I'm going to play a 1 minute video for you. And I want you to see what got 40,000 hits on the C3. It shouldn't even be on C3's webpage. 40,000 hits. Okay? I want you to watch this video. 40,000.
Oh, down it goes. All right, let's see the next one.
This
go.
Is my niece, Belle.
Yeah, you got me your hand down. My hand is here.
Man. Next.
Move so Jocelyn can come down.
Nice
Is Tegan actually up there? I might actually get him. Let's see, Jocelyn.
He's coming. Come on, let's go.
This is
Go, go, go. Woohoo!
Man. Last one, Tegan has not arrived at the top yet. Oh, I see her. Here she comes, folks. Hi, Tegan.
Tegan, Carpenter. Come on. I'll hit you.
Go, Teags. Man.
Go.
Now, listen to me, okay? That day, I was sitting right back there thinking, I'm kind of a big deal. And then it hit me. 40,000 people would rather watch 4 kids they don't know go down a slide than listen to one word I've ever said. Think about that. No, we would much rather watch that. And then I got thinking, it's not even that good of a video. I know some moms like, oh, but it's not a good video. And then it hit me. Why are people watching this? And it hit me. I'm going to blame my wife. She's here. She needs to hear this. I think people watch that because they're like, what parent lets their 2-year-old climb a ladder and go down a slide while you're sitting there like, is she up there yet? Is she going down? I don't. Hand me another beer. What's going on? Honey, you got it. Mommy's watching and mommy's filming. Like, it's insane. That's terrible parenting, right? We're the worst parents ever. Like, that has to be it. Why can they love it so much? But here's the thing. I want it to be about me when I'm wrong. And you guys want it to be about you when you're not living the life that God wants you to live. And we know this because I think God shows us sometimes when we start going off and losing our mind and get frustrating, it's always because, but God, I thought, and this is what I got. And I don't like that there's a difference between the two. So just remember this. Remember there's a cost to going off. Naaman's like, why are you guys so caught up in this little Jordan River? You talk about your miracles. It's a little muddy river. It's not impressive. So he starts going back to his homeland, the most dominant country at this time. And he says, are not Abana and Pharpar, I made those up, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? We got nice beaches, yo. And he says, couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed? So he turned, catch that, and went off in a rage. He literally went off. Why? I was thinking about this. Many times I don't think I go off because of what's in front of me, but because of what's beneath me. And this is what's dangerous for the church world, okay? Just be honest. In the church world, in this room right now, people watching online, what you're taught to do is fake it, right? We do. Why? Because we're church people and we're supposed to look good and play the part and be the part. When I was 13 years old, really went to a little like different church stuff for that, but really not a church family at that point. And I walked over to this little country Baptist church beside my house in Arabia Heights. Some of you heard the story. But I didn't tell you this part. I'm in there, and I'm not used to the stuff they do. You know, when to stand up, when to sit down, when to sing. I'm just like, this is all new to me. I walk in the door. I'm 13 years old, and there's 7 70-year-olds. 70 plus. So that's the gang I was growing up with. So I'm a dork, right? So it's me, 13, 7 70-year-olds. But I was in. They were so nice to me. They're showing me stuff. I was amazed about this story about Jesus. It blew my mind. I was like, this stuff can't be real. Like, it's amazing. I was so into it. And I know something. They would get on Sunday and Wednesday nights, because we always had Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. They would do Sunday night, Wednesday night. The pastor would come up and he'd be like, anyone have a testimony? I have no clue what that word means. Someone's like, I don't have one. I don't have one. But literally, no. I'm like, I don't know. And about that time, he would ask. No one says anything. Sure, no one has a testimony tonight? No one says anything. And then I remember it was like, okay, last call. He'd always say last call. When he said last call, someone would be like, he'd guilt them into it. They'd be like, okay. I remember a lady, her name was Geneva, sweet lady. She stood up once and shared about how she used to be able to sing. She loved to sing. And then one day she was like, I don't want to do it anymore. And she talked about how she lost her voice for like 2 years. And it was like, I think God reminded her like, hey, I've given you a gift and use it. Very good. Everybody's like, amen. Preach, sister. Amen. They're feeling it, right? I'm like, oh, I like this. And I remember it was like the very next week, this guy stood up and he was like, I used to drink a lot, and I was a horrible husband, and I was doing a lot of stuff back in the 70s, and then I became a Christian, and when I did, God changed everything. Amen. They're into it. I'm like, I like this. So the next week, I was like, you know what? I need to do that. I mean, these are my people, right? So we're sitting there, and he's like, hey, first time he said it, hey, anyone have a testimony? I was like, I do. And I stood up, because you had to stand up by your pew. I stood up, and I look over, and Blanche Spears, my next-door neighbor, who's about 80 at this time, sweetest lady in the world, I look over, she is smiling at me. She's so happy. I look over, Irma. These are all real names, right, okay? Irma over here. I'm like, these people love me. And I said this. I started out, and I said, well, last night I messed up. And about the time I said last night, I hear her going, And I just told him a story about how I had really done some bad stuff the night before. And I was just kind of being reminded of how good God is and his forgiveness and how good his forgiveness is. And I finish and look around. No one's happy. They're like, and here's the point. I learned that day. Here's the church world. You don't ever share something that happened recent. You got to share bad stuff that happened 30 years ago. Right? You don't ever say no last night. And I think for here we get into that. It's like, no, don't share the junk you brought in this morning. No, you don't do that. We hide it. Like Naaman, you hide it because we need everyone to think higher of us. And when I need people to think higher of me, I can't be honest with you. And when I can't be honest with you, then we can never be that close. So I spend my whole life trying to get likes and followers and prestige and power and money. But the whole time I'm like, but I'm lonely because no one's ever really that close to me. Because like Naaman, I got to keep my armor on. And that's what the dangerous part is. Pride hides. And that's why it's the most dangerous. My kids are little. They'll tell you this. I had a phrase where I'd always say, go to the back of the line. That was kind of one of our family mottos. It was just go to the back of the line. Go to the back of the line. What I meant by that is there's a verse in Luke 4:14. Jesus said, he said, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. So I would always say to them, when they're arguing about who gets the seat, when they're talking about something at school and this kid did that, I'd say, go to the back of the line. Go to the back of the line. And why I said that, they thought growing up it was torture, but it wasn't. It was training. And why am I telling you that? Because I want you to hear it. It's training for us too. I wanted them to see when you know you're fully loved by God and fully forgiven because of what Jesus has done, when you know you've got that, no matter what happens, and when you realize you are created to serve others, I knew if I could get them to get that, I knew they would have a much happier life. Instead of saying, okay, now I'm trying, do you like me? I'm going to chase this person because I need someone to validate me. I also knew if they made everything about them, I'm trying to get more because life's all about me and I need this and I need that. I knew they would be miserable. Because I'm telling you guys, I know a lot of people. I know people have a ton of money. I know people have no money. I'm talking dirt floors. Both can be miserable, right? I also know some people that have a lot and they seem very happy. Some don't have anything happy, but they learn this. They learn, I'm content. I know how God made me. And when it's all said and done, I know my purpose is to serve others, fully loved. Once I get that love from God, the greatest thing I can do with my life is share that same love with you. Well, Trent, how do I forgive that person? I forgive them the way I've already been forgiven. Well, how do I treat someone when they say something cross to me? I treat them the same way that Jesus did for me in my darkest moments. And once we get that, we remember we don't have to go off. So, last thing is this. Beneath you might be the place that heals you. Beneath what you're trying to hide, I would argue maybe God gives us moments like that because he's actually trying to show us where real healing comes from. What you call beneath you, I think might actually be the foundation for what God's building under you. I think that. So I shared briefly at the 9:30 with you guys. I think back to some key moments of my kids' lives. And my son always loved sports, really loved football. High school, very fortunate. He's in here. He knows this. Very fortunate to play on 3 teams that went to the state championship. Never won one. And my daughter is tennis. Very good. I love to play. I don't think she's here, so we can talk trash about her all day. But no, she's very good. And I remember distinct moments where they were in big games. I remember my son's senior year state championship game, and I remember I looked up and the score's like, we're down like 18, and there's like 2 minutes left, and we have the ball. And I knew it was over. So I looked at the guy beside me. I was like, you know what? This whole year I've never been on the field with my kid. This is it. The last dance, baby. So I said, we're in Canton State Championship. I get in the hotel, or elevator, go down. I'm sitting on the field. And about that time, he's still like in that mode, let's get it back. Let's score quick. Onside kick. We're going to try to make something happen. It's over, though. And I think he threw a pick or something. But he comes over the sideline, and he is frantic. And you just tell he's just amped. He's talking a million miles an hour. And I literally just looked at him and I said, it's done. It's done. Because I could just tell he's still there, but like, okay, we get the ball back. He's just trying to fix it. And I wish if I had a movie, if it was Hollywood, I would have said something way cooler. Like, do you know? Like, I would have had a cool phrase. I didn't. I just said it's done. And literally, as soon as I said it's done, he just kind of melted and just broke down. It's like, because it hit him. It's done. All this is done. I think back to my daughter. And I'm trying to flex by him a little bit. She played in the boys tournament. She was just play with boys, and we get to the district, and they're all pretty good. And she starts winning some, and I'm like, man, she might win the district. She might be district champion against boys. She's a girl. Oh, how embarrassing for all you losers, right? Like just, but she was playing, and I remember her losing a final match, and it was like it was done. I asked her, watch her come over, and it's just like it kind of hit, like we're graduating, we're done, it's over. Now, why am I telling you that? Because I think here's the point of all this. If my life is, and your script is always about what you've got to do, and when you miss, then you got to have that feeling of like, oh, it wasn't worth it. You know, my favorite moment of that state championship weekend was the night before. My son texts my wife and I, and he's like, he was very superstitious. He's like, I've got to eat Chick-fil-A, sandwich, fries, and a sweet tea. But we played at like 9 in the morning. So we drove that night and went and got Chick-fil-A in a bag, went and took it to his hotel in his room, put it in his fridge. And then I remember the next morning I was talking to him. I was like, how's that Chick-fil-A? Awful. Awful. Just an old, cold sandwich, right? He's just mauling food in the morning. He's like, it tastes terrible. He didn't want to eat it. But that's what he had to do. And I think back to that, just that moment. Why? Because I was with my kid. I think back to my daughter, and she's playing a tournament. She came over, and she was losing to a guy. She got mauled, 6-0 in the tournament. So it's like, this guy's going to kill her. And she came over, and she's like, Dad, I'm dragging, I'm struggling. And my dad was with me. He was standing beside me. He was like, I know what you need. And he went, my dad's a little bit of a wild man and a gambler, so he's getting ready to pull something out of his pocket. I'm like, I don't know what's going to be. I kid you not, he pulls out a 5-hour energy. He's like, it's grape, it's delicious, take it. And she's like, what? And he's like, it'll get you going. So she literally is like, just like shotguns 5 hours. She goes and wins that one like 6-4. So she comes back over, she's like, okay, I said, well, you got anything else? He's like, matter of fact, I do. Here's a Diet Mountain Dew, 20 ounce. I'm just like, so she overdosed on caffeine that day, but she was killing the gang, like killing him. And I want to tell you that because that's what I remember. And I'm telling you that from a dad's point of view, it's like, I enjoyed the ride. But when we make our life about a script, then it's always going to be, well, how's this scene end? How's this scene start? And when you get caught in that, then you miss the ride. Here's what I probably screwed up with my kids raising them. I think because I'm so like, achieve, do what's next, got to kill it, we're going to work hard, I'm going to outwork everybody, like many of you. I'm afraid, though, that they've seen me so focused on what I want that I've actually lost sight of what I have. That's a tough way to live. That's a big but in my life, that I am so focused on constantly what I want, what I've got to get, what I've got to do, that I actually miss. I lose sight of what I have. So what I want to give you guys today as we kind of close is I want to give you a thought. Okay, here's your homework assignment. Because this is how I think life works. Okay, I brought the director's chair. And I'm a little bit nervous because this arrived at my house, Amazon, yesterday at like 5 p.m. And my wife and I'm not kidding, put this together. Did we not at like midnight last night? I don't know why I want her to say yes. Like it verifies it. She lies a lot, so it doesn't matter. No. But I'm scared to death because I don't even know how well we put this together. So I sat on it very gingerly. But here's as we close. Hear this. This is, if we're honest, like Naaman, this is what I want from life. I want to take my big script, all the things I've written. I want to sit in the director's chair. And I want all of you to read my script. And is it too much to ask you to follow it? You see, I go off when people don't follow my script. Because didn't they read it? I've got a lot of pages for you. So what I try to do and why I'm so stressed all the time is because I'm trying to sit in this chair that was never designed for me. And I keep doing, next scene. No, cut that. I don't like that scene. Cut it. Next, I don't like, you're a terrible actor. Get out. You're the worst boyfriend I've ever had. Get out. You know, not for me. I was speaking for a girl there, okay? I don't care either way. I just do what you want. You do you, boo. I'm just saying. You go down the line. It doesn't matter what are you talking about. Oh, I remember the boss. Cut, get out. No, that dark moment in my life, erase that scene. Like we all of us here want to control and be in the director's chair. All of us, right? But let's be honest. Is it fun in that chair? I know you're like me. You're like, kinda. It's really not. It's really not. The weight of this chair is unbearable because you were never meant to sit in this chair, and neither was I. And we were not the ones to do this all day. And if you can just get this today, okay, as we get ready to pray, if you can just get your mind around this, here's what I want to challenge you to do. I want you this week to take one gap, one crack of where I thought and I got, where they don't match up. And I want you to do this. I want you in that moment to just get out of the chair and say, it's not my script. God, I realize you're writing the scene, and I'm going to trust you in this moment. But Trent, there's a lot of things that's happened in my life I didn't want to happen. I know, me too. But what I have to learn is I still can't get in this chair because I don't control the scenes. I didn't control the day I was born. I will not control the day I die. That's the director's. So what I want you to see today as we close is just one moment this week. I want you to take the gap when you're freaking out and you're, why is this going on? Or a moment maybe you're just getting flustered. Maybe you're just frustrated. Maybe things didn't work out the way you want. Whatever it is. I want you to take that moment and just say, God, just pray for a moment. God, to yourself, you don't have to close your eyes if you're around people. God, I know you've got this scene, and I'm trusting you with it. God, it's your scene, and I'm trusting you with that. Because here's the beauty of all this. God's pretty crazy on how he writes scripts. See, he brought the Savior of the world that they all were waiting for a king to come rolling in like Naaman, and he's born in a stable with a bunch of stinky animals. And for them, it's like, no, that's beneath us. I cut that scene out, God. He also took the Savior of the world, who we would say, okay, he's going to take over and conquer and be the king because that's what they were told. And it's like, no, they actually sat and looked at a cross that none of us would want to look at. That was the scene. But the cross is beneath the Savior, yes. But that's still the scene he wrote because he always gets the final call. So as we close today, maybe this can encourage you. Some of you feel like in your life, you've heard that, which we all know in a movie, what happens? You film a scene, and right when it's over, you go and cut. And some of you are disappointed because you think whatever that story or script was, that it's been cut and it's over. And here's the beauty of God, okay? God says, no. You see, this does mean cut. Jesus dies on the cross. But this also means take two, which means we're running it again. We're creating a new scene. Yeah, I know you didn't like that scene. That's why we're going to do it again. That's why we're going to create a new scene. And God, the director, gets control of all that. So don't go off this week, this month, this year on things you can't control because you're going to make yourself miserable. We're going to trust the director in that chair. So this week, simply, when it's not going the way you like, just do this. Just literally get up out of the chair and say, it's not my chair. God, you've got this scene. I'm trusting you. And I'm telling you, when you live more like that, you live freer and happier and more peaceful. Now, I know some of you are like, okay, I was never... No, do your thing. Go push. Be the best you can be. All that. Use your gifts. I love it. But just know at the end of the day, what I do doesn't equal what happens here. He writes the script, not me. So you go just a second, let's just close our eyes as we get ready to pray. Father, I thank you so much for this group of people. I thank you for who they are, what they do. But today I don't want to focus on any of what we can do. I want to focus on who we are in you. And God, I know there's some people in this room right now that literally right now, watching online in this room, they're going through some really dark scenes. They are so frustrated, God, because everything they planned and thought and hoped for is not what they're getting. God, I pray you'd help us all today to be reminded of the good news. I'm not the director of my life. I don't even write the script. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you in the highlight scenes, the scenes that we all love. I'm also going to trust you in the darkest scenes, the horror scenes, the dramatic scenes, because you're the one that writes the script. And I know when it's all said and done, you love me more than I could ever imagine. So I'm trusting you. And I'm not going to try to control things I can't control. God, help us, because maybe, just maybe today, if we do that, if all of us could do that, maybe we could quit being so focused on all the things we want and keep sight of the things we have. And we know for the people in here who have faced unimaginable tragedies, you tell us that the scene is never over because you're an eternal God. You don't even think in this small moment of our life. You call it a mist. You think eternal. So God, today we celebrate that you say when it's all said and done, we win. I've won. And because of that, we can trust you with all the things building up to a great ending. Help us to do that today. Jesus, we thank you so much for giving your life, for conquering death, so that we can have life in you. Our trust, our faith, our hope is in you for that new life. I pray today we walk out of here loving others as we've already been loved by you. We ask this in your name, and amen. Guys, hope you have an amazing week. Love to see you back for week 4 of the series. Take care.
I just